Northland. In Seattle, 4 men carried the crate to a garden with a high wall. A fat man with a red sweater looked at him. Buck threw himself against the crate. He growled and barked. The man brought a hatchet and a club. "Are you going to take him out now?" asked one of the men. "Sure," the man said. He hit the crate with a hatchet to open it. The 4 men ran away. They went to sit on the high wall to watch the show. Buck threw himself against the wood of the crate. He beat it and growled. He wanted to get out. The man with the hatchet opened the crate. Then he put down the hatchet and took the club. Di Seattle, 4 pria membawa peti itu ke taman dengan tembok tinggi. Seorang pria gemuk dengan sweater merah menatapnya. Buck menjatuhkan diri ke peti itu. Dia menggeram dan menggonggong. Pria itu membawa kapak dan pentungan. "Apakah kamu akan membawanya keluar sekarang?" tanya salah satu pria. "Tentu," kata pria itu. Dia memukul peti dengan kapak untuk membukanya. Keempat pria itu melarikan diri. Mereka duduk di tembok tinggi untuk menonton pertunjukan. Buck menjatuhkan diri ke kayu peti. Dia menggigitnya dan menggeram. Dia ingin keluar. Pria dengan kapak membuka peti. Kemudian dia meletakkan kapak dan mengambil pentungan. Buck was really a red-eyed devil. His hair stood up and his eyes were red with anger. He jumped straight at the man and his mouth was ready to bite. At that moment the man hit him with the club. He fell to the ground on his back. This was the first time he was hit with a club. He did not understand. He jumped at the man again, and again the man hit him with the club. He fell to the ground again. This time Buck knew that it was the club, but his anger was so great that he did not stop. He jumped at the man 12 times, and 12 times the club hit him. There was blood on his nose, mouth, and ears. Then the man hit him very hard on the nose. The pain was terrible. It was agony. Buck jumped at the man again, and the man threw him to the ground. Buck did not move for some time. "He knows how to teach a dog a lesson," said one of the 4 men. Then they returned to the train station. Buck slowly opened his eyes. He could not move. He watched the man in the red sweater. The fat man was reading the salon keeper's letter and said, "Your name is Buck. Well, Buck," he said in a friendly voice. "Now you know your place. Be a good dog and we will be friends. Be a bad dog and I must use my club again. Understand?" Buck benar-benar iblis bermata merah. Rambutnya berdiri dan matanya merah karena marah. Dia langsung melompat ke arah pria itu dan mulutnya siap untuk menggigit. Pada saat itu, pria itu memukulnya dengan pentungan atau tongkat. Dia jatuh di tanah dengan luka di punggungnya. Ini adalah pertama kalinya dia dipukul dengan tongkat. Dia tidak mengerti. Dia melompat ke arah pria itu lagi, dan lagi pria itu memukulnya dengan tongkat. Dia jatuh ke tanah lagi. Kali ini Buck tahu bahwa itu adalah tongkatnya, tapi amarahnya begitu besar sehingga dia tidak berhenti. Dia melompat ke arah pria itu belasan kali, dan belasan kali tongkat itu memukulnya. Ada darah di hidung, mulut, dan telinganya. Kemudian pria itu memukul hidungnya dengan sangat keras. Rasa sakitnya sangat mengerikan. Itu sangat menyakitkan. Buck melompat ke arah pria itu lagi, dan pria itu melemparkannya ke tanah. Buck tidak bergerak selama beberapa waktu. Dia tahu bagaimana memberi anjing pelajaran, kata salah satu dari 4 pria itu. Kemudian mereka kembali ke stasiun kereta. Buck perlahan membuka matanya. Dia tidak bisa bergerak. Dia memperhatikan pria dengan sweater merah. Pria gendut itu sekarang membaca surat penjaga salon dan berkata, "Namamu Buck." "Nah, Buck," katanya dengan suara ramah, "sekarang kamu tahu tempatmu. Jadilah anjing yang baik dan kita akan berteman. Jadilah anjing nakal dan aku harus menggunakan tongkatku lagi. Mengerti?" As he spoke, he touched Buck's head. Buck was angry inside, but he did not move. When the man brought him water and meat, Buck drank and ate. He learned that a man with a club was stronger than him. He never forgot it. Life was now fiercer. Each day other dogs came. The man in the red sweater hit many dogs. Buck understood that a dog must be obey a man with a club. He was a master. One dog did not obey and he was killed. Men often came to talk to the man in the red sweater. When they paid money, the man took one or more of the dog. Those dogs never came back. Where did they go? Buck thought. He was afraid of the future. One day a short man came to look at Buck. The man spoke bad English. "That a strong dog. How much?" $300, said the man in the red sweater, "and it's a gift at the price." Perrault smiled. The price of dogs was high at the time. Perrault knew Dog and he knew Buck was an excellent dog. Buck saw many pass between the two men. He was not surprised when he and a Newfoundland dog called Curly were taken away by the small man. He took them to a ship called the Narwhal. From the ship, he and Curly looked back at Seattle. It was the last time they saw the warm Southland. Saat berbicara, dia menyentuh kepala Buck. Buck marah di dalam, tetapi dia tidak bergerak. Ketika pria itu membawakannya air dan daging, Buck minum dan makan. Dia mengetahui bahwa seorang pria dengan tongkat lebih kuat darinya. Dia tidak pernah melupakannya. Hidup sekarang lebih sengit. Setiap hari anjing lain datang. Pria dengan sweater merah itu memukul banyak anjing. Buck mengerti bahwa seekor anjing harus mematuhi pria yang memiliki pentungan atau tongkat. Dia adalah seorang majikan. Seekor anjing tidak menurut dan dia dibunuh. Pria sering datang untuk berbicara dengan pria dengan sweater merah. Ketika mereka membayar dengan uang, para lelaki itu mengambil satu atau lebih anjing. Anjing-anjing itu tidak pernah kembali. Dari mana mereka mendapatkan? Pikir Buck. Dia takut akan masa depan. Suatu hari, seorang pria pendek datang untuk melihat Buck. Pria itu berbicara bahasa Inggris yang buruk. "Itu anjing yang kuat." "Berapa?" $300, kata pria berbaju merah. "Dan itu hadiah dengan harga segitu." Perrault tersenyum. Harga anjing saat itu tinggi. Perrault mengenal anjing dan dia tahu Buck adalah anjing yang luar biasa. Buck melihat uang mengalir di antara kedua pria itu. Dia tidak terkejut ketika dia dan seekor anjing Newfoundland bernama Curly dibawa pergi oleh pria kecil itu. Dia membawa mereka ke kapal yang disebut Narwhal. Dari kapal, dia dan Curly kembali menatap Seattle. Itu terakhir kali mereka melihat Southland yang hangat. Perrault took Buck and Curly to Francois. Perrault was a French-Canadian, but Francois was half Indian and had very dark skin. Buck did not like this man, but he respected them. He learned that Perrault and Francois were calm and fair. They knew everything about dogs. There were two other dogs on the ship. One was a big white dog called Speech. He seemed friendly, but he was not honest. He smiled when he tried to take Buck's food. Francois was fast, and hit speed. From this moment, Buck began to like him. The other dog was called Dave. He was unfriendly and always wanted to be alone. Dave ate and slept and was interested in nothing. Perrault mengajak Buck dan Curly ke Francois. Perrault adalah orang Prancis Kanada, tetapi Francois setengah India dan berkulit sangat gelap. Buck tidak menyukai orang-orang ini, tapi dia menghormati mereka. Dia mengetahui bahwa Perrault dan Francois tenang dan adil. Mereka tahu segalanya tentang anjing. Ada dua anjing lain di kapal. Salah satunya adalah seekor anjing putih besar bernama Speech. Dia tampak ramah, tetapi dia tidak jujur. Dia tersenyum saat mencoba mengambil makanan Buck. Francois cepat dan memukul Speech. Sejak saat itu, Buck mulai menyukainya. Anjing lainnya bernama Dave. Dia tidak ramah dan selalu ingin sendiri. Dave makan dan tidur dan tidak tertarik pada apapun. The call of the wild. Day and night the ship sailed. Every day was the same, but Buck noticed that the weather was colder. Finally, one morning the Norhaus engines stopped. Buck and the other dog were excited. Something was happening. Francois listened the dog and took them outside. At the first step, Buck's feet went down into something white and soft. He jumped back. More of this white stuff was falling from the sky and fell on Buck. She shook himself, but more fell on him. He smelled it curiously, then tasted some on his tongue. It was like fire, and the next moment it disappeared. This confused him. He tried it again with the same result. People looked at him and laughed. It was his first snow. Siang dan malam kapal berlayar. Setiap hari sama, tetapi Buck memperhatikan bahwa cuaca lebih dingin. Akhirnya suatu pagi mesin narwhal berhenti. Buck dan anjing lainnya sangat bersemangat. Sesuatu sedang terjadi. Francois mengikat dua anjing itu dan membawanya keluar. Pada langkah pertama, kaki Buck berubah menjadi sesuatu yang putih dan lembut. Dia melompat mundur, lebih banyak benda putih yang jatuh dari langit dan menimpa Buck. Dia mengguncang dirinya sendiri, tetapi lebih banyak jatuh padanya. Dia menciumnya dengan rasa ingin tahu, lalu mencicipi beberapa di lidahnya. Itu seperti api dan saat berikutnya menghilang. Ini membuatnya bingung. Dia mencobanya lagi dengan hasil yang sama. Orang-orang memandangnya dan tertawa. Itu adalah salju pertamanya.